Emeka's eyes shot open, his chest rising and falling like he had been running for miles. The bright white ceiling above him felt strange, unfamiliar. He tried to sit up, but pain shot through his ribs. Where am I? He whispered. You're in the hospital, a woman's voice answered. A nurse stood by his bed, her face calm but her eyes hiding something. Hospital, Emeka repeated, confused. His head throbbed as he struggled to remember. Then it hit him, Emeka's scream. The sound of glass breaking, and a man's shadow in their living room. My wife, my daughter, he shouted, trying to get up. Where are they? The nurse gently pushed him back down. Please, calm down, sir. Calm down. Where is my family? His voice cracked, and his heart felt like it would burst. The nurse sighed, then picked up an envelope from the table beside his bed. Someone left this for you. The envelope was stained with blood. Emeka's hands shook as he tore it open. Inside was a single piece of paper with shaky handwriting. You should have listened. Now it's too late. What does this mean? Emeka whispered, his voice trembling. The nurse looked away. Your wife and daughter are missing, sir. They've been missing for 3 days. 3 days. Emeka's mind raced. He remembered the night clearly now. Emeka had been nervous, locking every door. She had whispered to him, if anything happens, trust no one. Emeka's hands clenched the paper. Who brought me here? A man, the nurse replied, her voice low. He didn't give his name, but he said something strange. What did he say? Emeka's voice was sharp, desperate. The nurse hesitated. He said, the past always catches up. Emeka's stomach sank. He reached into the pocket of his torn jacket beside the bed and pulled out Emeka's locket. Inside was Ada's tiny photo. Whatever had taken his family, it wasn't over. And somehow, it was tied to Emeka's past, a past she had hidden from him. Emeka couldn't sit still. His mind raced faster than his heart, each beat reminding him that his family was gone. His hands trembled as he clutched Emeka's locket. The last time he'd seen her, she had been so calm. It was like she knew something was coming. The nurse, now standing at the door, glanced back at him with worrying in her eyes. You need to rest. The doctor will be here soon. But Emeka wasn't about to rest. His wife was out there somewhere, and he couldn't afford to waste another second. Where is my phone? He demanded, his voice hard. The nurse hesitated. You had no phone with you when you arrived. Impossible. Emeka gritted his teeth. He pulled out his jacket from the chair beside him and searched through the pockets. Nothing, not a single sign of his phone, or anything that could lead him to Emeka. Whoever did this, Emeka muttered to himself. They're not going to get away with it. The door creaked open, and a man in a dark suit stepped inside. His cold eyes locked onto Emeka. Are you Emeka? The man asked, his voice low and serious. Emeka shot up, but the pain in his ribs made him stumble. Who are you? The man ignored the question, walking closer. I was the one who brought you here, and I've been watching you for days. Emeka's eyes narrowed. What do you want from me? The man studied him, then finally spoke. I know who took your family. He paused, letting the words sink in. And I know your wife's secret. Emeka froze. What do you mean? The man took a deep breath. Emeka didn't die, Emeka. She faked her death to escape a cult. A dangerous one. And now they have your daughter. Emeka's blood ran cold. His mind couldn't process the words. Emeka, the woman he loved, had been running from something. And it was only getting worse. She left something with you. The man continued, something they need. If you want to get your daughter back, you'll need to find it. Before it's too late. Emeka clenched his fists. Tell me where they are. I'll do whatever it takes. The man took a step back. It's not that simple. The people behind this are powerful. But I can help you if you trust me. Emeka didn't know if he could trust the man. But the feeling of helplessness gnawed at him. His family was depending on him. He had no choice but to take the leap. "Where do we start?" Emeka asked, his voice steady but filled with urgency. Emeka followed the man whose name was revealed to be Tade out of the hospital and into a dimly lit alley. Tade's car, an old Toyota Camry, idled quietly. The streets were eerily silent, save for the hum of street lights. "Get in," Tade said. Emeka hesitated, scanning the area. "You expect me to trust you just like that?" Tade smirked. "You don't have much of a choice. Your wife trusted me once. That's why you're alive." That stung, but Emeka slid into the passenger seat. The air inside was heavy, a mix of sweat and cheap cologne. As the car sped down the road, Tade spoke without looking at him. "Your wife, Emeka, was part of a group called the Covenant. They're not just a cult, they're connected to some of the most powerful people in this country. Politicians, pastors, businessmen. They run everything from the shadows." Emeka's stomach churned. "Why was she involved?" "She was recruited in university," Tade replied. "Smart, ambitious, and naive, exactly the type they prey on. But when she saw what they were really about, she tried to leave. Nobody leaves the Covenant without paying a price." Emeka clenched his fists. "And the price is my daughter." Tade nodded grimly. "Yes, but it's bigger than that. Emeka stole something from them before she disappeared, a flash drive. It contains evidence of their crimes, money laundering, human trafficking, even murders. They want it back, and they think you have it." Emeka's heart sank. Emeka had never mentioned anything like this. She had lived her life as if everything was normal. Or had she been pretending all along? "I don't have any flash drive," Emeka said. Tade's jaw tightened. "Then they'll kill your daughter, Emeka. They don't make empty threats." Emeka's mind raced. He thought about the night of the attack, about Emeka's trembling hands as she locked the doors. Then it hit him, she had slipped something into Ada's school bag. "Turn the car around," Emeka shouted. Tade looked confused. "Why?" "I think I know where the flash drive is," Emeka said, his voice filled with determination. "We need to go to my house, now." Tade didn't argue. The car screeched as he made a sharp U-turn. Emeka's thoughts swirled. If the flash drive was where he thought it was, it could be the key to saving Ada, but it could also paint a bigger target on his back. The game had just gotten deadlier. Tade parked a few houses away from Emeka's compound. The street was dark, the faint hum of generators buzzing in the distance. Emeka scanned the area nervously. Everything about the night felt off. "We shouldn't go in together," Tade whispered. "If they're watching, 2 men walking in will look suspicious." Emeka nodded, his palms sweaty. "Give me 5 minutes. If I'm not back by then." He hesitated, the weight of his words catching in his throat. Tade's gaze softened. "I'll come for you if it gets messy. Just be fast." Emeka crept toward the compound, his heart pounding. His gate creaked as he pushed it open, and every sound felt louder than it should. Shadows from the streetlights danced across the yard, making it hard to tell if he was alone. The front door was ajar. His stomach sank. He knew he had locked it before they left that night. He stepped inside, his body tense, ready for anything. The living room was ransacked, cushions torn apart, drawers pulled out, and Ada's toys scattered everywhere. Whoever had been here wasn't just searching. They were sending a message. Emeka moved quickly to Ada's room. The small pink school bag sat on her bed, untouched. His hands trembled as he unzipped it. He dug through crayons, exercise books, and a doll before his fingers brushed something cold and hard. The flash drive. Relief washed over him for a split second before he heard a sound behind him, a slow, deliberate clap. "Well done, Emeka," a voice drawled. He spun around to see a man standing in the doorway, his face partially hidden by the dim light. He was tall, wearing an expensive suit, his expression calm and unnervingly confident. "Who are you?" Emeka asked, his voice shaking. The man stepped forward, clapping again. Let's just say I'm a friend of the Covenant, and you've just saved me the trouble of searching for that. Emeka instinctively clutched the flash drive tighter. You're not getting this. The man smirked, pulling out a small gun. I'm afraid I am. Before Emeka could react, Tade burst into the room, tackling the man to the ground. The gun clattered to the floor, and the two men wrestled violently. Run, Tade shouted, his voice strained. Emeka didn't need to be told twice. Flash drive in hand, he bolted out of the house, his mind racing. He could hear footsteps behind him. More people were coming. He reached the car, started it, and floored the accelerator. Tade hadn't made it back, but there was no time to wait. Emeka's only focus now was protecting the evidence and finding a way to save his daughter before it was too late. Emeka drove through the empty streets, gripping the steering wheel as if his life depended on it. In a way, it did. The flash drive felt heavy in his pocket, as though it carried all the weight of his family's fate. He had one destination in mind: the office of Chika, a fearless investigative journalist he had met years ago. She was known for exposing the darkest corners of society, and if anyone could help him, it was her. When he arrived at her small office, he banged on the metal door until it opened. Chika, a petite woman with piercing eyes, looked him up and down. "Emeka, what's going on?" she asked, alarmed. "I need your help," he said, stepping inside and locking the door behind him. "They've taken my daughter. I have something they'll kill for." He handed her the flash drive. Chika plugged it into her laptop, her face growing more serious with each passing second as she scrolled through the files. "This is huge," she whispered. "Money trails, incriminating videos, names. These are some of the most powerful people in the country." Emeka's voice was raw. "They'll kill Ada if I don't give it to them." Chika stared at him, then nodded firmly. "We're not giving it to them. We're going to expose them." "What?" Emeka's heart raced. "If they find out." "They already know you have it," she interrupted. "The only way to stop them is to make this public. Once it's out there, they'll have nowhere to hide. But we need to act fast." Within hours, Chika set up a live broadcast on her social media channels. Emeka sat beside her, his face hidden in shadows as he told his story. Chika presented the evidence, connecting the dots between the Covenant and high-ranking politicians, clergy and business moguls. The broadcast went viral almost instantly. Thousands watched, shared, and demanded justice. By dawn, the authorities had no choice but to act. Raids were conducted, arrests made, and the cult's grip on power began to crumble. Amid the chaos, Emeka received a call. It was a mocker. Her voice was shaky but alive. "Ada is safe. I found her, but I can't come back yet. It's not safe for any of us." Tears streamed down Emeka's face. "A mocker, I'm sorry," she interrupted. "Take care of Ada. I'll always love you." The line went dead. Hours later, Emeka was reunited with his daughter at a police-safe house. Holding her close, he vowed never to let her go again. As he walked away from the wreckage of his old life, Emeka knew one thing for sure: he might have lost Emeka, but he had gained something even greater: the courage to fight for those he loved and a promise to stand against the systems that had tried to destroy him.